Welcome to the Burn Bootcamp podcast. This is episode 14, 10 crazy facts about food. And if you are somebody who wants a fun, light, informative podcast about nutrition, stay right here. Did you know that honey is the third most faked food in the world? I didn't know that either. We got 9 other facts coming your way right now. Check it out. Welcome to the Burn podcast, where strength meets science, food fuels energy, and mindset creates momentum. I'm DK, your personal trainer, and I want you to train, eat, and think differently. So get ready to take your health and fitness to the next level here on the Burn Podcast. Let's get to work. All right, Burn Nation. You know what? We've been keeping it pretty heavy the last few weeks here. So we are going to lighten the mood a little bit, lighten the air, and we're going to have some fun today on the podcast. Not that we don't always have fun. I know you have so much fun here on the podcast. Trisha and I do as well. We have 10 crazy facts about food. Do you want to know where this came from?
I do.
Okay, I'm reading a book called How Food Works. Chelsea, can you pull up a book, How Food Works? It is this fascinating book. I didn't think that I was going to like it, but I take my kids to Barnes & Noble. Mm-hmm. Instead of going shopping for things that aren't, if they want to go buy something, we'll go to Barnes & Noble and we'll buy books and we'll buy games and we'll buy stuff that we can do together. And I'm going to the nutrition section and I'm on a kick to get myself healthy. This was a few months ago at the end of my 40-pound weight loss journey. And I'm like, I need to know everything there is to know about nutrition. So I bought 7 books. I read them all. And they were mostly really boring, besides this one, which was informative, but boring. This one was informative and really, really fun. It's this book right here called How Food Works. You guys, this is an incredibly visually appealing book. That's probably why I like it.
Yeah.
You know me.
Yeah.
I got to think in pictures. As we were in our pre-production meeting for the show today, we started just going through these facts, and we were kind of having fun with it just in the pre-production meeting alone. So we're going to have a ton of fun today. And make sure that if you have not subscribed to YouTube yet, that you are, that you hit that bell to get the notifications when we drop a new episode. We're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple, and we are dropping 2 episodes per week for you. Have you guys been loving the interviews lately or what? Season 3 has been coming hot with some interviews, hasn't it, Trish?
Yeah, it has. I think it's been a solid lineup, and we've got more to come, and I'm really excited about this topic in general. I mean, a lot of what we talk about on the podcast is bringing awareness to topics. And like you said, a lot of it's been a little bit on the heavier side. I've gotten emotional, but this is the type of awareness that makes you stop and think am I about to put that in my body? Have I been putting that in my body all this time? I know when I was going through this, I was thinking that, and I had no idea about what you said about honey was even a thing. I thought it was all natural.
Yeah,
there we are.
Yeah, well, I mean, don't you know that if it's in a little golden bear, that it's completely natural because bears like honey. I've always thought
Marketing.
That was funny. Yeah, that the bear is the one, not a bee. I don't know. I bet the bees are really mad about the bear getting all the credit for the honey bottles. Listen, nutrition is on our mind, people, because we want to help you get to the next level in nutrition. So yeah, we're going to have some fun today, but also this is real because there's such a misconception of what is healthy and what isn't because of marketing. We know it. We're marketers. And the majority of the marketing world tries to get you to buy stuff that you don't need. That's not our philosophy, but that's the reality. Tries to get you to buy stuff that you don't need. So that is how this book comes about, How Food Works, because it is laying the foundation for what's real, what's not, what's a myth, what's a misnomer versus what's real, what's reality. And I'm really excited to talk about it. But nutrition is on our mind. I just got done, everybody, filming, this a couple weeks ago, I got done filming a Burn Nutrition course that's going to get ready to come out on Burn Bootcamp On Demand. It's the first nutrition course that we've ever put on Burn On Demand. So if you go download the Burn Bootcamp app, Burn On Demand is that middle icon. As soon as you download the app, that's where we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of fitness videos, exercise. What else is on there? There's 16 categories on there.
16 categories, almost 1,000 pieces of content. And guess what, guys? We just launched a 30-day free trial. So it used to be 7, and now we want to give you guys 30 days to really be able to consume all of the great content that we have on there.
Okay, I love it. Let's do that. And by the way, I had such a great time filming the 10 modules. It's about maybe two hours of time that you get to spend with me to learn the basics of nutrition. So if you're a Burn on Demand member or a Burn Bootcamp member already, you get that for free. And if you are not, then you can not only get the Burn Nutrition course when you take the free 30-day trial, but everything else as well. It's one price point for all of the stuff that we have to make your life better. Ready to go today?
I'm ready. I'm ready to get into this. I think this is going to be really fun. I've got some differing opinions than DK, so that'll be a good convo for us.
Good. I'm excited to argue with you in a fun way.
Yeah.
And one last thing before we get into that, I just got to let everybody know all this emotional, psychological stuff that we're talking about. I practice it all the time. And, the last, 6 or 7 episodes have been really heavy, like we talked about. And it paid off for me this morning. You want to know how it paid off for me this morning? I was dropping my kids off at school, dropped them off, clean drop off, executed it just like a dad should. I pull out of the roundabout. I hit the highway. I go 2 miles back toward my house right before I get off the exit. I hit heavy traffic and I get slammed from the rear end. Yeah, and I saw it coming in my rearview mirror. And I was actually very proud of myself because all the emotional resilience, mental resilience that we talk about, that we get from fitness, that, when we show up every day and we're not only building our body, but we're building our mind and we're putting ourselves in a position to be uncomfortable, a position to experience pain, experience discomfort, to be uncomfortable and to be okay with it. Mm-hmm. It manifests itself automatically, subconsciously today when I got hit from behind in my BMW by one of those fake Rolls Royces, the Chrysler 500s or whatever they're called. I saw it coming and it hit me. And as soon as it hit me, I'm like, oh, okay, this is kind of what happens in life. So let me just get out, make sure this person is okay, exchange information. And you know what? My heart rate didn't jump at all. And I want you guys to know that when you practice resilience, when you go up and you show up in the gym every day and you're constantly thinking about how can I put myself in positions to be uncomfortable? How do I create that mental, emotional resilience? It will pay off in situations like that when most people are going to crumble. Mm-hmm. I was proud of myself. I didn't crumble. In fact, I stood tall and I was the emotional support for the person behind me who actually hit me, who was distraught and freaking out. So I just thought I'd share that real quick before we jump into our podcast today. Yeah. Any thoughts on that?
Well, no, I'm very proud of you. It's also inspiring. And also, first and foremost, we're just glad you're okay, DK, because that's scary.
I'm good. Let's go. I'm here. God's will. Thank you, though. I appreciate that. So we're going to jump into, we're going to go through these relatively quickly, but we're going to go kind of one at a time. Mm-hmm. We've already given you some foreshadowing to what the first topic is here. Did you know, America, that honey is the 3rd most fake food in the world?
That's crazy.
Did you know that? I didn't know that until I read this book. Most store-bought honey isn't pure, that it's diluted with corn syrup and rice and even sugar water. In some tests, 75% of commercial honey samples failed authenticity checks.
It's very
75%. Meaning what you're eating may not come from bees, which is maybe why they put the bear on the bottle and not the bees. I'm on that one. I'd be mad if I was a bee. Like, I spent my whole life making this honey and you give the bear? The bear bottles?
Yeah, no, for sure. And then I'm also thinking, don't they say to take honey when, for your allergies? But so, I've been having my bear honey. I think I buy the organic bear honey. So is that not even a thing? I buy the organic. I know it comes in a bear, but I also know I buy organic. And I thought it was supposed to help with allergies. But if it's not even real honey, then is it actually even helping with allergies?
Well, I don't know. So Chelsea, as we're going through today, what I want you to do is pull up maybe some what is and what isn't. So what brands are authenticated and what brands aren't, like the 1/4 of brands, that the 25% that are authentic or authentically honey versus the 3/4 that aren't. I don't know that question, but what I do know is that when you, and I learned this a long time ago talking to a honey expert at a health and fitness expo here in Uptown Charlotte.
A honey expert. That's amazing.
Yeah, there was a honey expert. They had a booth at a health and fitness expo here in Charlotte. And I said, you're bringing honey, sugar to the fitness expo. Why? Why are you doing that? And he said, that's a great question. He goes, because honey, to your point, can actually be so healthy for you, especially when you get local honey from the local bees. Because I believe what he said, this was a long time ago, that they produce like the antigens, I think is the word he used. Maybe that's not the word. what's that word mean? Antigens. I think that's what he said. They produce the local immunity from the local bacteria, the local virus that you might have in your area, and the bees are the antidote to the local feel. So like eating honey from like Uruguay or whatever, it doesn't have the same effect as it would eating it like locally where you're at here in the Southeast. So that was this whole shtick. Chelsea, tell me.
An antigen, often a protein or polysaccharide that the immune system recognizes as foreign and that provokes an immune response.
Oh yeah, we're not. Yeah, maybe that's right. I don't even know. Let's move on past that. We're no scientists here.
But I will say the whole honey and allergies thing, it has to be local to your area because obviously bees that pollinate in your area, it's different because of the different types of trees and stuff. So they say if you go to like a farmer's market, it's local honey.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. Learn something new every day.
But here's what I love honey for. Okay. And honey is a monosaccharide. Do you remember when we did our carbohydrate episode? Mm-hmm. What episode was the carb episode? We went way deep into it. Check that for me. Yeah. I think it was like 4. No, it was maybe like 502 or something like that. Episode 502. Mm-hmm. But do you remember monosaccharides? Mm-hmm. Where we basically talked about carbohydrates and we said there's a monosaccharide, polysaccharide, 1 or 2 chain molecule, multi-chain molecule. And honey was one of the most bioavailable sources for a pre-workout routine. So if you're somebody like me or like Trisha, who often works out early in the morning, then you can actually, if you're somebody that likes to train fasted because you're maybe advanced and you're not new. If you're new, training fasted probably doesn't work that well. You're likely not metabolically flexible yet. So you don't know how to use your carbohydrate energy system versus your fat energy system, the 2 main sources of fuel, until you become metabolically flexible, which is switching back and forth between gas and electricity, if you will, in your car. It's like switching back and forth between 2 energy systems in your body. You probably want to have something before your workout that can help stabilize your blood sugar. Honey is where it's at. I mean, you just get a little squirt of honey in your mouth, you're good to go.
I'm now wondering, because I was training for half marathon for a while, and I was reading up about, and we talked about this a little bit on that same podcast episode, because we're talking about how people like will take candy to spike their blood sugar. But they, those sticks or those, they're like waffle cones. Mm-hmm. Is that real honey? Like now I want to go read the ingredients to see if I'm just being bamboozled.
Yeah. I don't know, to be honest with you. But what I do know about the whole candy, situation is that like there is a psychological. So let me explain to everybody what you're talking about before we do that. So there's this whole wave of people eating like Sour Patch Kids during their workout or Sour Patch Kids like post-workout. Now the body doesn't know the difference. A monosaccharide is a monosaccharide. And the body doesn't, the simple sugar is a simple sugar. A carbohydrate breaks down into glucose and then it gets stored in the muscle as glycogen. The body doesn't really know the difference, but the brain does. And there's this psychological trap that I'm scared of when you start to consume candy or consume these things that have, a high spike of insulin, a high spike of, a correlated high spike of blood sugar. And boom, because we tend to often crash after that. And when we crash after that, what happens is that we get hungry again.
Yeah.
And then when we go to eat again, it's like, are you conditioning your body to want to crave sugar and to go get sugar all the time? The answer is likely yes, unless you're like an ultra disciplined person. So for that reason, I'd rather you have maybe something that doesn't have this like, association to like bad food, right? Like this is association to junk food. When honey is a monosaccharide, it doesn't have this association to junk food like a Sour Patch Kids would. And so, I just really want to make sure that we as human beings understand the psychological effects of food as well. And yeah, a monosaccharide's a monosaccharide. Honey is essentially the same as a Sour Patch Kid. There's some differences, obviously. Like local honey immunity. That's a big one. Sour Patch Kids don't have local immunity to them. If you eat Sour Patch Kids, you are invoking sickness and you're invoking inflammation, not maybe getting rid of it. So yeah, I mean, I'm not like the world's honey expert, but 75% of commercial honeys are fake.
Quickly, Devan, 512 is the episode about carbs.
512. All right, everybody, episode 512.
I'll link it in the show notes.
That was a good one. I do remember that one.
And then I do have a whole list of honeys that are considered like all natural.
Give me the top 2 of each category. What are they? Show the screen too, please.
So Nature Nate's 100% pure raw unfiltered honey is the first one. And then Weatherspoon raw honey, and then Local Hive raw unfiltered wildflower honey is the other one. So those are the top ones of the all natural.
Okay.
And then I don't know if it gives me, it doesn't give me the unnatural ones.
Okay.
I'll look those up though.
Well, just pay attention to that, right? As you are looking for your brands of honey, check your cupboard. If you're somebody who likes honey like I do, pre-workout or just in general. What else? You know what? We're going to get off honey, but one more comment from you. You said you used it.
Yes, I love honey.
Okay.
But I also now have this moment, like maybe I should, because this goes back to when you hear something, you should probably dig into it and not just take it for what you hear. Or I took, honey helps with allergies. Well, I probably should dug in more to realize I needed to buy local honey. So now I'm like, now I'm going to start going to our local farmers market and I'm going to buy honey at our local farmers market. And then I'm supporting locally too. So, hey, it's a win-win.
Okay. All right. So we're going to move on. Number 2 is, guys, can you believe this one? Okay. I didn't know this either until I started reading the book, How Food Works. It's a crazy statistic. Ultra-processed food now makes up over, guess what percentage of the American diet? Guess what percentage of the American diet, everybody?
You're not going to want to know.
60%, over half the American diet is now derived from ultra-processed food, okay? Crazy.
That's crazy.
Most of the calories that we're consuming as Americans come from this food design, and we wonder why, as a country, when we're spending the most any country can spend on healthcare, how we're increasingly getting sicker and sicker and sicker and sicker. And the numbers don't lie. I would love to sit here and say, hey, my number one goal would be, hey, Burn Boot Camp, help shift the paradigm. Now people in our country are getting healthier. Mm-hmm. That's not happening. That's not happening. What is happening is people are getting more sick.
Yeah.
More metabolically impaired, not less, as we move forward and as we gain knowledge. So what that means is knowledge isn't power. It's the execution that is powerful. Metabolic sickness is everywhere. It's linked, to obesity, cancer, shorter lifespan, all this stuff. It's crazy. It's morbid. I hate it, but it's the reality. Break the pattern. That's our advice to you. Break the pattern. You're in this pattern of seafood, eat food. Have you ever been there in this pattern of where you're like just going about your day and you're not waking up every day seeking out health? This is something we talk about in the Burn Nutrition course a lot.
Yeah.
It's like you wake up and you don't own the day and the day owns you and it gets started maybe a little bit behind. And now all of a sudden you don't really feel like you're in control anywhere, especially with your food choices. You're just eating to survive. You're not eating to thrive.
Yeah.
And have you ever been in a position like that? I want you to talk about that.
I definitely have. I mean, I have a digestive problem. So I'm always trying to figure out, like, how can I just feel better? And I think a lot of this, what I'm hearing in the statistic is I don't want people to feel like blame, because we're kind of just fed this information, right? We're from marketing. All this food is, this is healthy to eat. Or I know I'm a working mom and my kids play sports. I wake up at 4 and I didn't get home last night until almost 9 p.m. So I was actually thinking through how easy it is for people to just stop and buy prepackaged food because you're busy, and I get it. So unless you have a plan, like I now have to meal prep on Sundays, and I meal prep dinners and my lunches and the kids' breakfasts because I want them to have eggs and like healthy food. I'm done having like the frozen waffles. Like I had to get rid of that stuff. And so now we meal prep, and I spend a lot of my Sundays meal prepping. And people make plans with me on a Sunday, I'm like, I got to meal prep because it's so important for me, because I know if I go into the week without meal prepping, we're going to be eating all this processed food. And I know my kids, they don't act the same. They're grumpy. They're moody. I can see a difference in them. I see a difference in myself. So if you don't have that education, it's not your fault. I think I want to first say it's not your fault. That's why we're here, is to help educate you so you can make better choices and plan better.
You made a comment in our notes, and I want to talk about this before we move on to number 3, which number 3 is one that you and I are going to have quite a debate over. But you think that the conversation needs to shift from what people say is like never eat processed foods to understand what's in your food, how often you're eating it. I don't agree with your word balance. We can talk about that. I might use a different word, but I think the intention might be the same underneath it. So let's talk about your comment here.
I think it's just all about taking inventory. I think when this first came to light for me, I was like, I need to take inventory of what I'm buying for my kids because I do the grocery shopping in our house and I'm planning their food and I'm planning my food. And my husband is an adult and he plans his own foods, right? But obviously when we think about meals and family meals, I'm always trying to make our food at home. We very rarely will eat out. We're very rarely get packaged foods like from a meal perspective. So I also like to think, I don't want to take away everything like delicious in my life. That's why I think it's like taking my inventory of what you're consuming. And if there's a couple of things that you love to eat that are processed, like that's okay. As long as it's not every single thing in my POV, it's okay to keep some of those things in your diet. Like for example, and I know this is really bad and it's processed, but I really like the Quaker rice cakes. Love a Quaker rice cake. It's processed, but it's really nice little treat for me. And so I do keep that at home. And it's something that I eat probably on a regular basis.
Well, there is a fundamental difference between ultra processed and minimally processed. You've heard of those terms, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so minimally processed and ultra processed, obviously the definition is right within the actual term itself. Yeah. But when you have ultra processed versus minimal processed foods, you're going to have like a rice cake, for an example, is a minimally processed food. An ultra processed food is going to be something like these industrial formulations that were
like
made
Taco Bell.
Yeah, that were made from like ingredients that
in a package.
They've been extracted, refined, synthesized from whole foods, but they're ultra processed. They don't have the same form as they once had. So, and then you have like a minimally processed food might be like whole foods that they've been clean, they've been cooked, they're frozen, they're fermented, they're packaged with like minimal alteration, like a rice cake. But the goal might be just like preservation of the food, safety of the food, and not so much the chemical modification of the food. So it's chemical modification versus like longevity manipulation, I think is a basic, probably good way to put it, although
I have the difference up if you want to pull this.
Yeah,
short.
show me what what does GPT say the difference is? Okay, so minimally processed foods, Trish, are foods that are close to their natural state. Ultra processed foods are foods that are industrial formulations.
So you don't think my Quaker rice cakes are industrial formulation?
No, I don't think they're industrial form. That's just my perception. Let me see. What is a rice cake? What does that fall under? Okay, so it says, all right, a rice cake we know what a rice cake is, GPT, okay? I'm not asking you that. I'm asking you, is it
it says that
high or mid?
If your rice cakes are made from just puffed brown rice or whole grain rice and maybe a pinch of salt, they're considered processed, but not ultra processed.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So if you're doing like the flavored ones, so your apple cinnamon, your cinnamon sugar,
those are ultra processed.
Those are going to be your ultra processed.
All right, yeah, mine are flavored.
Yeah, that apple cinnamon that does not come from apples and come from cinnamon.
Oh, goodness. But that's what I'm saying. Well, hey, it's kind of confusing, right? And I'm like, also when you're reading the definition, I was like, I could totally be telling myself a story about like, but wait, this is ultra processed. This is just moderately, whatever the other one is, processed. Like, I don't know. It's just like, that's where I think my whole everything in moderation, balance. As long as you are taking inventory and you're making smart choices, it's okay to have some of those things be processed.
Yeah, I think it goes back to my favorite example in the world. And I think I mentioned this last podcast too, but just real quick, it's the pH balance scale. It's the marketing around it that says, oh, you drink a 11 or 10 pH balanced water and it's going to make you more alkaline. No, it's not. That's not true, right? It's not true. When you look at the scale of processed, ultra processed on one end to minimally to not processed at all on the other end, minimally processed foods is probably somewhere toward like the middle left of the whole food spectrum. And it's like eating all whole foods all the time. Like if that we could do that, okay, but is that actually realistic to do that all the time in today's society? If you live in the jungle,
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you don't have kids, maybe. I've got kids, and that is like a metaphorical jungle. And I don't all of a sudden, like, grow a banana tree in my backyard. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I can't just it is. I hate this term, but it is what it is, people.
Yeah, and I think that's why we have to have some balance, because you can't give yourself these unrealistic like expectations to like live this life, right? That's kind of where I'm at. Like, okay, so for example, my kids play football and they got their snack a post game was like 3 bags of chips like each, and I was like, okay, but like I wasn't gonna say, no, Gunner, you can't eat these 3 bags of chips, because he was excited to eat those. So I'm like, I can't dictate what someone else is gonna do too, and then make my kid feel bad. So it's just hard. It's hard.
Yeah, I think it's harmony. That's the word that comes to my mind, not balance. And maybe we're saying the same thing, but harmony is just in a sense, you are welcoming in things that make your life better. That could mean that could mean easier. That could mean healthier, convenient. It could be a part of that conversation. And to me, it's like, if we are going to have the bag of chips, it's the education that we have underneath the chips, that when I ask my kids, hey, is this bag of goldfish that you just got from after school care, that I've told them 1,000 times to stop giving you, but they still do it anyway, is this a good thing or a bad thing? Is this healthy or unhealthy, and why? And if my kids can articulate to me what is healthy and what is unhealthy, I've actually taught them, and I go over this in the Burn Nutrition course too. I teach people how to really read food labels and where we go wrong in reading food labels. I've taught all my children how to read food labels. So the first thing they'll do when they get a foreign treat is they'll look at the back of the food label and they'll say, hey, Dad, this has X amount of added sugar. And I'm like, is this good for you or is this bad for you? And as they're eating it, they're like, it's bad for you, Dad. When they're eating it all, they're like, it's bad for you. I'm like, okay, then what are we going to do to harmonize our body?
Yeah.
Right? What do we get? That means then we have to have really good dinner, and then you're going to have your broccoli for your dinner tonight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I like the word harmony. I think that's also just calming. It's better than balance. It just feels better.
Well, balance, like there's this undertone of you have to give from one thing, or take from one thing to give to another thing. Like I've got to like, if I'm on this side and I have a 25-pound weight over here and a 15-pound weight over here, I've literally got to give 10 pounds or 5 pounds to the other side to balance it out. So it's a give and take relationship, where I think a harmonious relationship is one in which you'd never have to. It's constant giving. You never have to take from one area of your life and give to another.
I like that.
All right. Number 3, we are gonna debate, Trisha.
We are.
All right, we're gonna debate, and my debate is gonna have something to do with an property of this food. But, ladies and gentlemen, when you read the book How Food Works, it will show you a section that says 1 can of soda can shut down fat burning for hours.
Are you talking about regular soda?
Hours.
Diet?
This is talking about regular soda, Coca-Cola.
Okay.
Just 40 grams of sugar, roughly what's in a single. Yeah. It is crazy that we'll go through life and drink beverages with these crazy amount of sugar in them. Coca-Cola has how many grams of sugar? Body Armor has how many grams of sugar? Gatorade has how many grams of sugar? I mean, it's 30 grams of sugar per serving. And you can crush a Gatorade like boom, in 1, 2 sips or 3 sips, and all of a sudden there's 30, 40 grams of sugar right there hitting you. All right. Now, I already know your argument because I know you very well. And I'm not going to argue with you. I'm just kind of having fun with it. But, because there's truth in what you're going to talk about here in a minute. But what happens when you introduce sugar, carbohydrates, everybody? Come on, you guys are educated at this point by now. You've been listening to the podcast. You listened to episode 512 where we talked all about carbohydrates, the hormonal effects of your calories. What is impacted by acute consumption of sugar? What is impacted? What hormone is impacted by acute consumption of sugar? Insulin. Bang. Yes, Trisha. Let's go. Insulin. And insulin is it's the storage hormone, but it's the fat storage hormone. It takes all the unused energy from your calories that you can't use because carbohydrates to glucose to glycogen gets stored in the muscles, stored in the liver. What we call it And the nutritional sciences is you top off your muscle and liver glycogen. Once it's topped off, that means it's full. Like you can't put any more water in the cup. Then you're going to store every calorie after that as fat. And insulin is the hormone that's signaled when all that sugar hits your body to go store that caloric energy, whether it's in the form of glycogen in your muscles or your body fat. And it goes in that order. Now, your body is going to prioritize burning the sugar, and it will stop oxidizing the fat. So the hierarchy of energy systems in our body goes rapid fuel in the form of carbohydrates, slow, long burning fuel in the form of body fat. And then finally, once you get about 4% or below, then you can release you're in territory of cannibalizing your muscle for energy. And you don't want to get there. That's exactly where we don't want to get. You've seen historic images of populations of people that are starving, and they get to the point where you can clearly see that that's the case and that's happening. So that is what happens. That's how we get energy. That's how we perform life as human beings. All right. Now, you're going to talk about diet soda. I think.
Yes.
I don't want to preface you too much. You take the mic.
I am going to talk about diet soda because if you guys know me at the office, I love my diet Dr. Pepper or like the diet Cherry Coke Zero. I have one, maybe two a day. I consume it. And here's the thing that I do want to say. I know very well that this is not the best thing for me. Like I understand, and I know Devan's argument is valid, but I also know that there's a lot of research that's been done, and it's not like tearing my insides apart at the same time. It's not great for me, but it's not like the worst thing for me. I drink it for the caffeine. Because I like to just be energized and keep going. Like I said earlier, I got a lot of things going on, and it might be a story that I'm telling myself that I need more caffeine to keep going, and it probably is. But I also kind of find it like a little bit of a sweet treat in the afternoon. I don't know. I find joy around it. It brings me joy. So I continue to drink it. And that's where I'm at. And I know a lot of people are same way, but I know that you have a rebuttal.
I mean, I just have the facts, because it's not like that I don't drink soda. I don't drink it often, but you'll see me popping one every now and then because I live my life in harmony and try not to tell myself that you can never have this thing ever. I have to when it comes to alcohol because of the way it interacts with my body and my mind, and just like it's well beyond just like health for me. It's more about legacy and more about breaking the cycle of alcoholism in my family. That's pretty deep. So that as a whole, that's more in like a spiritual realm rather than in like a nutritional realm.
Yeah.
So I just want to separate that. But when it comes to my nutritional realm, I don't tell myself that I can't have stuff. Like the last time that I had a donut was like 2 weeks ago, and it was after a Saturday camp. We went right to Harris Teeter, and I got a donut because I know if I'm going to eat a donut, then what I really want to do is eat it right after a workout when my body is susceptible. I need to restore the glycogen I just depleted. And we know that when we eat high amounts of sugar after a workout, it'll rapidly spike our insulin. Insulin is the storage hormone, right? And then it's going to take that donut and literally, because the body doesn't really know the difference, the body, not the mind, doesn't know the difference between a monosaccharide coming from sugar, a donut, or a monosaccharide coming from honey. It's going to go take that. It's going to take that glucose, break it down in glycogen, use insulin to ship it off into the muscle. And so there's instances in which diet soda, maybe all these things can be a part of your diet. My argument is that it has to be that the word harmony has to be there, not balance, because balance is like 50-50. You can't do 50-50 when it comes to things like alcohol, sugar, soda. Yeah, the three white poisons is what we really call it: sugar, flour, salt. If you have sugar, flour, and salt all the time, and you're on a constant daily basis, if you do it on a daily basis, it better be like the only thing, like a diet soda or something, because I know your health around that is like on point.
Yeah.
So that's like the only really, quote unquote unhealthy thing that you would do, but you do it in such a moderation. It's like, maybe a half a
I mean, I probably consume too much caffeine.
All right, you probably
So I don't want to. I don't want to call. Yeah, it is. It is, and I know, Devin. I know that it's a thing, but we'll get there.
Okay, so my argument necessarily isn't around. It's not around necessarily because most people will go to the difference between diet soda and regular soda is sugar versus aspartame or whatever fake sugar it is. There's some studies that show no significant insulin rise when sucralose is consumed alone. Others show a small insulin rise when sucrose is coupled with other food. But when you look at side by side, everything that I can find will lean into your point, which says that, hey, the sugar, real sugar, it's going to have that real impact on your blood sugar levels, and then the sucrose not as much. Side by side. Let me just look at a side by side chart. Chelsea, I wish I had in front of you what I have here in front of me. Let me just read it here. So a side by side comparison of sugar versus sucralose, which is like the fake sugar. So table sugar versus fake table sugar. Calories, blood glucose impacts, insulin, gut microbiome, cravings, and long-term metabolic effects side by side. Okay, calories first. 4 calories per gram of sugar. 0 per gram of sucralose. 0 calories per gram of sucralose. The blood glucose and sugar will have a sharp rise. The blood glucose and sucralose, or what's flavored in Diet Coke, is none or minimal, according to the meta-analysis, not according to Devan's opinion. Insulin has a large spike. Sucralose has a small or variable spike. Gut microbiome, the sugar, will feed the bacteria. Sucralose may disrupt the balance. Cravings will increase with the use of sugar. Sucralose can also increase cravings with the use of sucralose. It mimics sugar in that way. Long-term metabolic effects is fat gain, insulin resistance. When in sucralose, it's possible like gut and insulin sensitivity issues, according to a chart here on Chat GPT when I said, give me the meta-analysis studies, meaning the aggregate of all the studies on sugar versus sucralose. So this is what the current literature and the research is actually saying.
What I pulled is similar.
Okay. What you pulled is similar? Okay. Yeah, go and flash that on the screen while we continue to talk about this. But you guys can, take a screenshot of this or read it, whatever you need to do. But this is a side-by-side comparison. I'm actually going to go to something that not a lot of people talk about. Do you have any idea what it is?
I do, only because I know the notes.
Okay. So it's carbonation.
Yeah.
We're going to go to carbonation, okay? So carbonation has some negative impacts on your health that I think are really important, because carbonation can show up in so many different places. And I think that energy drinks are much worse for you than diet soda. And let me tell you why. Because caffeine, and I know that there's caffeine in diet soda as well, but the caffeine in the energy drinks is so high.
Yeah.
And it has such a hard crash.
Yeah.
And then it forces you mentally to at least consider or thinking about having another one. Right? Because you just crashed so hard. You're like, I was on fire for like 13 minutes. And then I just hit my rock bottom. I hit the low point in my life where I feel like everything is just looking down.
I just want to stay on that high.
And you want to stay on that high. I have a theory. It sounds very similar to something that doctors used to push in like the 60s and 70s. Cigarettes.
Oh.
What happened when you smoke a cigarette?
Mm-hmm.
I think I smoked like one cigarette in college one time at a bar, and I was like, oh, never again. I'm not going to ever do that again. But what do cigarettes do for people? And I know this through secondhand knowledge. What does it do? It makes you feel glorious.
Yeah.
Makes you feel on top of the world for a minute. It gives you that little high, that nicotine high.
Nicotine.
And how long does that last? Not very long. What's the refractory period of nicotine? Probably, I don't know, an hour?
Yeah.
I don't know how long does nicotine last in the human body? What's the half-life of nicotine? And then once we come down off that nicotine high, then we want another one.
Yeah.
Now, the caffeine in diet sodas isn't as high as it is like some of these energy drinks are crazy.
Yeah.
You combine that, the caffeine with the carbonation is so addictive. It's an erosion product. So carbonation can produce like erosion in the teeth. You don't necessarily have this bone and calcium kind of myth that people are used to associating with carbonation. It's a myth that carbonation alone leaches calcium from the bones. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
That carbonation rots the bone. You ever heard that? Well, from everything I can find, it's the real issue is the phosphoric acid that sits in cola. It's not the carbonation. It's the phosphoric acid. The same thing, and in the combination of that with caffeine and sugar, it's the same thing that if you pour Coca-Cola on a engine. Can you show a video of that? Pouring Coca-Cola on an engine? Just YouTube it or something real fast. Let's go to the nicotine screen, and you can follow up with the Coca-Cola video. You can find plenty of videos of people just pouring Coca-Cola on their engine.
The half-life's 1 to 2 hours.
1 to 2 hours. So if I have if I have a cigarette, 1 to 2 hours later, I'm going to have another one. If I have a bunch of caffeine, probably roughly the same half-life, I'm going to need another one. So I'm relating cigarettes to energy drinks and the high levels of caffeine, the high levels of phosphoric acid, the high levels of sugar that reside in these energy drinks not only promote more consumption, but also are unhealthy for your bones. The real issue for the bone rot isn't just the carbonation itself, it's the phosphoric acid, the caffeine, and the sugar combination.
I was just going to say, so not all carbonation is created equally.
Okay.
Right?
Tell me more.
So I'm just thinking about like a bubbly, like a water, sparkling water. Is so long as they're not using additives, they can create, because there's also like those at home, like you can create your own carbonated water. And I'm like, you only put, I don't even know what you put in there, but this is a question.
Yes.
That it's not all created equal. So not all carbonation is bad, is going to erode your bones.
You are 100% correct. So if you have like pure sparkling water, that equals good. That's hydrating. It's harmless. It's even helpful for digestion. It's not going to rot your bones. Okay. Sugary soda, based on the back of carbonation, added sugar, phosphoric acid, empty calories. That has some effects on the bone density and calcium. And then diet soda is this mixed kind of hybrid. So going back to moderation, like if you're having a half a can or a can of diet soda a day and everything else that you do around, you have plenty of water, you have plenty of healthy food, you're going to be fine. Can I tell you guys a crazy story before you show me this Coca-Cola video? You want to hear a crazy story?
Yeah.
This is a serious, I swear to you, I have this on my Instagram. I don't know, Chelsea, if you could pull this up, but this is from Hickory, North Carolina, a long time ago. A fantastic member from Hickory, North Carolina, came up to me after a workout. After my workout, I always have meet and greets with our members, and they get about a minute to tell me how burn has impacted their lives, and they'll have pretty much their emotional highs and lows packed into 1 minute. It's very interesting stuff. She came up to me and she said, DK, this post that you made, I forget what post it was, this post that you made changed my life. You want to know why it changed my life? Because I used to drink, I kid you not, 40 Mountain Dews a day.
That's a lot.
40.
It's also expensive.
That's one after another, all day long. That's even crushing a couple back to back from time to time.
How many grams of sugar in one Mountain?
That's a lot. It's probably 32 to 36, I would assume.
There's 36 in Mountain Dew because I had it up.
Oh, you did? Okay, Chelsea's over there just chugging Mountain Dew as we're talking about. No, she's not. I'm kidding. Producer Chelsea would never do that. She just competed in the level up games, not only once at Lake Norman, but twice. Once at Lake Norman, once at Harrisburg. Give it up for Chelsea, everybody. Level up games.
Yeah, girl.
I don't know if you can find that. It was a long time ago. Don't worry if you cannot. But this is the type of addiction that diet soda can create. And it's so bad for you, Trish, even if it is just a little bit. I mean, watch how this phosphoric acid just erodes this engine. Chelsea, you want to pull up a video of somebody pouring Coca-Cola on an engine? Just show this video real quick. Watch what happens. Okay, so pop in a soda can. This is regular. This is not because of the sugar content, by the way. This is the phosphoric acid. Do you see what just happened there? It melted away the erosion on the battery just in like literally less than 2 seconds.
And that's what we're putting in our bodies.
We're putting that in our body.
There's probably 100+ videos like this, and they're like promoting, hey, is your battery corroded? Use a Coke.
It's better than like the conventional cleaner.
Yeah.
You're basically putting cleaner in your body.
So next time that you go to pick up a soda, listen, sugar is one element of it. The phosphoric acid is another element of it. Just know what you're picking up. Know that a Coca-Cola can clean your engine, and your engine, the nuts and bolts and braces and the metal that makes up your engine is stronger than your gut lining.
Yeah.
So what is it doing to? Oh, we got to move on because we got 10 of these to do today. But that's basically it. Here's a challenge for you, everybody. Do you want a challenge?
Yeah.
Let me do this with you. If you are somebody who, will you take this challenge for me? Will you do this? Can we do this together? I'll do it if you do it. I'll do it if you do it. 1 week only. 1 week only. No carbonation. For just 1 week. That's all I'm asking. 1 week where you don't have any carbonation at all. That means no energy drinks, no diet sodas. Trish and I are going to do it because we're going to experiment for the podcast. I'm voluntolding you. We're going to do it one time, okay? And we're going to report. We're going to report because I know you can do it.
After athlete games.
We're going to do it from now, right now, today, until the next episode. And we are going to report back on that. And I'm at least going to do it, Trish. I want you to attempt to do it and come back with your story next week, okay? I'm going to definitely do it. I'm going to go no carbonation. I'm not going to hold a gun to your head and say, do this with me. But I'm definitely going to do it. I challenge you. And last week I had carbonation maybe like 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, maybe. I don't know, somewhere in that 4 to 6 times. I'm not going to do it. And I'm going to keep an inventory of how much better I feel. Notice I'm not saying no caffeine.
Yeah.
I'm just saying no carbonation.
Mm-hmm.
All right? No carbonation, which is going to eliminate the phosphoric acid that comes from sodas, which hopefully will help you feel better. I'm going to take it on. I hope that you take it on. 1 week of no carbonation. It's the 1 week of no carbonation challenge.
Okay, I'll have to start tomorrow because I already had carbonation.
All right. Will you, are you willing to experiment with yourself? All right, Trisha, we're going to come back next week. And Chelsea, are you in? In or out? You got to tell me now. In or out?
I'll be in.
Chelsea's in. Jordan, in or out? Out. Jordan says he's out. Trisha, are you in or are you out?
Starting tomorrow because I've already messed today up.
Okay, starting now.
Same.
To this time, it's 11:14. Starting at 11:14 next week. At this time, that'll be 1 week. I'm certainly in. Come on, Burn Nation. Let's go. The 1 week no carbonation challenge. See how much better you feel. And it's not because of the caffeine. It's not because of the sucralose and its impacts on your hormonal effects of the diet soda you're drinking. It's the phosphoric acid that sits inside of these diet sodas, these energy drinks that I'm trying to help us get rid of. This Monster, I believe Monster has phosphoric acid for sure. Check that out for me real quick. Just make sure. Because we all know Trish and I both love an occasional white Monster. Okay? Okay, that's it. So number 4, we're going to move on to number 4. Okay, we got to speed these up a little bit. We spent a lot of time on the first 3. All right, here's a shocking fact. The average American eats more than their body weight in sugar every year. That's 150 to 170 pounds annually.
That's crazy.
Annually.
Yes, she can't drink Monster.
You can?
No.
You can't. No, I was going to say.
I was going to just guess and assume.
No, you can't. The average American eats more than their body weight in grams of sugar per year. This is insane. All right, if I were to stack up, hey guys, we're going to start doing this, all right? We're going to deploy more shenanigans in the podcast. I mentioned in our pre-production meeting I want to stack bags of sugar, 170 pounds of sugar in front of my face as I'm going through this. Number 4 here, we didn't do that today. We're going to start doing stuff like that in the future. But are we talking about our insane amounts of sickness and inflammation in association with the amounts of sugar? If we're not, we need to start. It's crazy. Here's the reality, is that you should be having less than 20 grams of added sugar per day. And if you're over that, you're going to be feeling fatty liver disease. You're going to be fueling emotional irregulation and dysfunction like depression. You're going to be fueling type 2 diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
Type 2 diabetes, which is now reversible, by the way. Curable. The scientists won't say curable. They say reversible, or they'll say it's in remission, like it's cancer. But type 2 diabetes is a lifestyle-induced disease that when you eat well, exercise often, and sleep well, you can actually reverse yourself out of type 2 diabetes. But it's going to start with sugar. Sugar is literally the culprit. It's not fat. It's not carbohydrates. That's not the enemy. You know what your enemy is?
Marketing?
Sugar. Yeah, but marketing and how marketing makes sugar seem like it's, not that big of a deal.
Well, we have this video that I came across that I share with the team that is about marketing and how it can really just mess with how you're consuming food. Do we want to go ahead and roll that clip?
What are we going to look at?
This is video of this. It's an influencer that
I hate them.
Cheat day
I love them.
and he's showing how you can rebrand candy to make it seem healthy.
Okay.
So I'm going to show you just how easy it would be to rebrand candy corn to make it sound healthy. Check this out. For starters, I'm going to package the candy corn in a rustic looking pouch. And unfortunately, a product with candy in the name is never going to sound healthy, so we have to change that. Honey is actually one of the ingredients in candy corn, so I'm going to rename these honey harvest kernels and add made with real honey. Still to this day, one of my favorite fun facts is if you stack candy corn up, it looks like a corn cob, so that's exactly what I'm going to use for the image on this package. But I do still want the focus to be on the honey, so I'm going to add a bunch of honeycomb onto the packaging too. And why not? Let's add some honeybees as well, give it more of that natural feel. I do still have to say that this is candy, so at the bottom, I will call this wholesome corn kernel candy, and I will add, to be honest, artificially flavored underneath that. It's just going to be small and buried at the bottom. To make them sound a little bit healthier, I will also add that they are fat-free and gluten-free. Now, candy corn does use corn syrup and artificial colors, but it doesn't use high fructose corn syrup or artificial sweeteners. So I'm going to add that to the top. And I don't like blank space, so I'm going to round things out with some golden cornstalk. And
Okay.
just like that.
That's good. So you guys, you get the point. Look at that image right there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is how we get. This is how.
Bamboozled.
Yeah. What is it? What's the word?
Bamboozled.
That's a great word.
This guy at least gave the bees the credit.
He did
For
give
the
the
honey.
bees the credit. Yeah, he did
I'm
give
not
the
a bear.
bears the credit.
But if you don't know how to read a food label, which I have also tried to start teaching my kids, then you would just pick this up and be like, oh, it's fat-free, it's gluten-free, it looks like it comes from nature. I'm going to go ahead and eat this. But then you look at the label, and another thing that throws people off is serving. So per serving size, how much sugar is in the serving size? Because you got to look at the serving size. There's probably like 4 pieces of candy and you're sitting there eating 16.
Yeah, that is so crazy. And that's one thing I talk about in the Bird Nutrition course that we just put out. Or is it up yet? I don't know.
Not yet.
It's not up yet.
Coming soon.
Coming out soon. And we'll let you know when it launches so that you can go watch it all. But that's one thing that I talked about. You know, the whole idea of serving size being the thing that will take people out of a caloric deficit.
Yeah.
Because we know that calories in, calories out, calories is just energy. So if you give your body enough energy, then you're going to maintain your weight. If you're going to give your body too much energy, or not your weight, but a more appropriate word is your mass. Your mass, because your weight can fluctuate with gravity. So your mass will go up if you have a surplus. Your mass will go down if you have a deficit. And that is just this. There's a science and art to nutrition. That's the scientific part of it. But where people go wrong and how they can be a couple hundred calories in a surplus on a regular basis is when they look at the calories on a package, but they're not looking at the serving size. Yeah. For example, after baseball practice the other day, Max and I stopped at the gas station. He had a great practice. He, every 2-3 weeks or so, I'll give him like a treat if he is well-behaved at practice and reward him. And he was a leader and he spoke up and he was in tune and engaged. But we'll always go to like the protein bar section at like a gas station. He just loves going to the gas station for whatever reason. Yeah. So I limit him to like the protein bar section. He pulls up these protein Oreos and he flips them over and he shows me the back of them and it says 130 calories and there's 6 in this package. But when I look at the 130 calories, it's per 2 cookies. So then there's 6 cookies, and now there's 2, 4, 6, 690
More than a meal.
calories in one little tiny package of these protein-packed Oreos. And for that reason, I taught him that. And I said, now, buddy, how many of these should you be eating in one serving? How many calories is good from this? And he said, maybe I should only eat like 2 or 3 of them, Dad. And he did. And he ate 2 or 3 of them. He put the rest away. And then 3 or 4 days later, when, he had good behavior again, I let him have the rest of them. But yeah, it'll creep up on you. And here's how it'll creep up on you. Even if you're just 100 calories over your total daily energy expenditure, y'all, you will gain weight. You will gain mass over time at 100 calorie surplus every single day. It'll be slow, but you'll do it. Start adding a 500 to 1,000 calorie surplus every day, which is also very easy to do. This is how we get obese. This is how we get super obese, is we do this every single day, and we're giving our bodies too much energy. Insulin spikes over and over and over and over and over, and all of a sudden, we're insulin resistant. The body is just producing so much insulin that it's almost just like it's like worn out. It's worn out. The receptor sites, there's no more room for any more storage in your muscle, in your liver, and the rest of that energy gets stored as body fat.
I found a graphic that kind of breaks down how much sugar is in different foods.
Okay, show us what that looks like.
Just if anybody's wondering how much sugar is in and soda, energy drink, orange juice. If you keep scrolling, we've got a strawberry frappuccino.
Okay, Chelsea.
Standard cereal. There's a lot, clearly, in each of these.
Serving size, folks, is a real thing. And I think going back to the calorie thing, that's where we get to this 170 pounds of sugar. Because even if you're trying to do well, if you don't know how to read a food label, I could totally understand how you're going to consume more sugar because you're not looking potentially at the serving size. And I know cereal, if I go back in time, that is like when my biggest aha moment when I was learning about nutrition was I was like, let me see, because I used to eat Life cereal, and I was like, how much can I have? You literally can only have like half of a cup per serving. So you think about a bowl of cereal, that's probably like 6 or 7 servings. And so how many grams of sugar is that just in one sitting? How many calories is that in one sitting? That's like 1,000 calories and probably 60 grams of sugar. And you're sitting here thinking that you're just having maybe 10 grams of sugar and 110 calories because that's what the front of the box says.
And I think that this whole conversation leads into our next mind-blowing, amazing fact. And this one I was already aware of, but I wanted to bring it up because it's so important. Number 5 today is the FDA's safety system. The FDA's safety system is outdated. Many food additives and chemicals are what the FDA will call GRAS, or generally recognized as safe, because manufacturers said so decades ago without modern testing. Do you know the food dye that we just banned? The red dye that we just banned? I think it was red dye 3.
Yeah.
How long that food itself was actually considered safe by the generally recognized as safe, or GRAS, the GRAS principles? That food decades ago was considered safe in America. And then it was recalled. So we called it safe because the burden of proof is interesting. Between America and the rest of the world. Here's what I mean by that. The standards of generally accepted. What does that mean? So the European standard, which we all know and we've heard, like Twix cereal or McDonald's Diet Coke tastes different in the UK than it does in America. There are 2 different standards. Okay, in Europe, the standard is guilty until proven innocent, meaning that everything is harmful until we've proven it's safe. In America, it's the exact opposite. Okay, in America, it's innocent until proven guilty. That means everything is safe until it's harmful. Do you guys see the subtle difference there? What happens is that people get sick, and that's the evidence that this food is bad, and then we will recall it. So when you hear the scientists say, well, all the literature and, it points us to like this thing is like generally healthy. This is the problem I have with sucralose in all the studies on it, is like, when is sucralose going to become red dye 3?
Yeah.
When are you going to come? When is it? There's a couple other things that were, and I'll look up on my phone in a minute, but there's a couple other instances in which something was generally accepted as safe for years, like decades, like 70 years. And people were consuming it. Now, Roundup is another one, right? Remember they removed Roundup, the chemical in the weed killer, Roundup.
Oh, I don't remember.
I know that's not a food, but it's the same. It's still approved by the FDA for I believe it's that product itself is, because they recalled it because a bunch of people started getting cancer from it, and they linked it and they proved it. But for so long, we're just using the chemical, like in your garden, in your backyard. You're just like breathing in chemicals and sniffing them and putting them on your hands and touching your kids and all the stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's innocent until proven guilty with the products in America. And that's the fundamental reason why we have such an obesity crisis, and that's not getting better, is because we're putting things into the universe. We're putting things into rotation for consumption that, hey, we haven't proved that it's harmful yet. So it's good to go until people start dying from it.
Until people start dying. It's just so disappointing to me. And we've talked about this red dye, food dye on the podcast before, and I had the same stance. Like, I don't have a lot of, and this is me just coming up with the excuse, but like, I don't have a lot of time to go research all of these different things. So I have to just like trust that what I'm buying is good for me and my kids, until then I hear in the news that, oh, there's all these whatever is going on with the red food dye. We need to ban it. It's like, well, wait a second. I was trusting that all this food was good. I'm just disappointed because it goes back to everything, obviously taking inventory of what you eat, trying to eat less processed food, because if you're at least eating whole foods, there's going to be less of those additives. But still, it's just, I wish we would get better. I wish we would follow the European guidelines.
Okay. So I do too. I really do. I think that we should, but we're not going to. And so we have to then take that upon ourselves to ensure that we are making healthy choices. For an example, I said I was going to look up my phone and find another example because I had written these down a long time ago. There's FRNC Red 3 was the most recent ban. That's the one that RFK just banned in his new administration. Before that, there was a red dye. I forget what. I think it was Red Dye 2. Red Dye 2 was studied for 70 years and generally recognized as safe by the FDA. And guess what it is now? Banned. It's banned. Red Dye 2. BVO bromates, vegetable oil, banned, once proved safe. DES, which is in cattle feed, the reason this is relevant is because we eat cattle. Mm-hmm. And you not only are what you eat, but you also are what you eat has already eaten.
Yeah.
So DES and cattle feed. Most recent, the FRNC Red 3. But I think there was a sugar too. There was a fake sugar. It's called, let me see, cyclamate. Chelsea, look up CYCLAMATE. CYCLAMATE. And this, I believe, was one of the original sweeteners, like a sugar substitute that's now banned. So there's already precedence for having sucralose, aspartame. It has so many names: aspartame K, aspartame potassium.
Yeah.
There's so many different variations of it because people will catch on. They'll stop consuming it. Sales will go down. So let me manipulate one little carbon in this carbon chain. Let me flip-flop these two carbons.
And re-release it.
And re-release it under a new name so that we don't get called out. But this is the issue that I have when you guys are out there and you're trying to educate yourself and you're listening to the scientific world. This is why the scientific world is in all forms of science is becoming less and less and less and less dependable, from archaeology to astrophysics to nutritional science. There's this scientific out, right? They always have an out. They can say, you have to do this right now. It's absolutely this way. And then they'll say, based on what we know.
Yeah.
It's like, based on what you know has a large precedent. You don't have to look far to find that you, based on what you knew, were wrong many, 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 many times over, in which it was harmful to the citizens, in which you're saying, hey, do this thing because I said so, because I'm a scientist and it's based on what we know. So yeah, you can do that and leave room for an out. But what you also should be saying is, I'm based on what we know, the studies say this, but it's innocent until proven guilty here. So be cautious on these studies that I just did in my own lab because, it says this, but we still there's to be determined the ill effects of what I'm recommending to you. So that's my rub with the scientific community. What you got for me, Chelsea?
Cyclamate is banned in the U.S. and it has been since 1970 and also in Canada.
Zoom in for me on this?
Yeah. But it's showing that in the European Union and also Asia, South America, and other countries, it's still approved and widely used.
The FDA banned cyclamate after early rat studies suggested possible link to bladder cancer. The ban remains in place today. In Canada, it's banned for decades, similar to the U.S. concerns. And then the rest of the world has a different opinion on it. So my point is that whatever is generally recognized as safe today could be a different story tomorrow. The scientific community always has an out saying you should do this based on what we know so that they tell you what to do, but they always have it out in case they were wrong. Oh, well, I told you, it was based on what we knew at the time. Now what we know is this. And that's fine. I want to know the latest and greatest based on what you know, but I also want you to stop being so absolute. All my scientists out there, especially with nutrition, stop being so absolute. No women should fast ever. Okay, that statement could mean 6,000 different things. I can agree with it on maybe 3,000 of them and disagree on the other 3,000 because it's all how you define fast, should, ever. like there's something to be said about thinking for yourself and applying curiosity. Okay, I said we're going to speed up. Now we got to actually do that.
Well, I think just to get into the next couple of topics where I have a rub too is a lot of the different chemicals that we're using to make these foods are also then allowing the foods to be more highly produced and allowing them to be at a cheaper cost. And we know that my grocery bill is insane every single week. I spend a lot of money on food. And so I could see if you don't know better, you're going to go for the cheaper option. And the cheaper option, unfortunately, is probably made of a bunch of stuff that you're not supposed to be putting in your body. I know we're going to get into a couple of those different, some of those made the list here, which is, again, disappointing.
Okay, so for the back half of this list, we're going to go rapid fire. Okay. And I'm going to basically give the crazy statistic, the crazy fact, and we'll spend maybe 2 minutes on each one, and we're gonna fly through these last 5 of them here. Make sense, Trish?
Yeah.
You ready for it?
Let's go.
All right. Are you guys? I know that this one is going to perk your ears up because most of us consume this product. Your bread lasts for weeks because there are chemicals inside of your bread. Preservatives like calcium permanganate make bread commercially stable and viable to sell long term, but the studies not only show that it can disrupt, a lot of gut health and even your mood and how closely related those things are, but the chemicals that you're putting in your body, these preservatives and whatever it might be, TBHQ is one that's well known. If you take a look at the live enzyme bread, which is Ezekiel bread, is a live enzyme bread, sprouted grain is another way you could put that one, a sprouted grain bread. There are no live enzymes in white bread, okay? There are live enzymes in Ezekiel bread and nutrient-dense bread. Your live enzyme bread is going to mold pretty quickly. Why do you think they keep Ezekiel bread, which is a Food for Life product? Shout out to Food for Life. One of my favorite products on this planet to consume is the Ezekiel bread cinnamon raisin with a little bit of, just the lightest thin layer of almond butter on it.
Oh, nice.
Ooh-wee.
Sounds good.
It's so good. But if you don't consume that loaf of bread, even in your fridge within maybe, I think it's a 7-10 day window, it's going to start to mold, which is good because now you know that your product is living. It's a living thing. Show this product right here that you have on the screen. We are not you're not sponsored by Ezekiel, although I would love to buy that company someday. I'm dead serious. I've been consuming their products for a very, very long time. And I got off white bread 13 years ago. I haven't had white bread, maybe like in a Jimmy John's every once in a while. I'll have a white bread. But I haven't had a loaf of white bread at my house in like over a decade. This is my go-to. There's a reason it's in the freezer section.
Yeah.
When you go to the grocery store. Because it's live enzyme.
Yeah, it keeps it longer. I was just going to say, look at the price. It's $8.99. I mean, I was just pulling up the difference between just like white bread, which I also don't consume, but it's 3 to 4 times more expensive than white bread. So it's like, it's not fair.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah. Well, you've through the process of mass producing bread, you've destroyed all the enzymes.
Yeah.
And the mass production makes it cheaper.
Yeah.
And so, this is a real, to me, do you want to build health in your body and prevent yourself from being sick and in the hospital?
Investment.
Or do you want to consume Wonder Bread and put something in your body that is very well known by all nutritionists, nutrition scientists, PhDs, RDs, CNCs, to be one of the worst foods that you can eat?
Yeah, fake
food. It's a fake food. Okay, here we go. Number 7. Your chicken. It might not be chicken.
Oh my gosh.
It might not be.
I think everyone's probably had this experience where you try and go cook some chicken. I know Julian and my husband and I, we bought chicken from the grocery store. This was like probably 10 years ago when we first got married. And it was like, we cooked it and we ate it and it was rubber.
Yeah.
And we're like, this is not good.
Yeah.
So we stopped buying that brand of chicken.
Yeah, your chicken might just be like that fake kind of flavor enhanced, injected with saline, injected with starches. And the hard part about that is that's a tough pill to swallow, that knowing that your chicken can likely be fake. But the tougher part about that is that when you do pump it with saline and starches and flavor enhancers to boost the size and the taste, what you're also doing is you're paying for the water weight. Mm-hmm. You're paying for the injections that they put into it, not just like the actual, protein, the protein content that you're going to get from it. So, hey, chicken is such a staple food. It's widely available. Just know where you're getting your chicken from. There was a big controversy. Look up the Chick-fil-A chicken controversy. There was a big controversy with Chick-fil-A because Chick-fil-A I believe they had this sustainable sourced chicken, and then they went to Tyson Foods, and Tyson Foods had just recently, right before that, said, hey, we're not doing the whole not pumping our chickens up thing anymore, guys. Like, we don't really care about the hormonal effects of our chickens and on you as humans. And we're not going to do that. Chick-fil-A is, for whatever reason, has established, maybe because it has chicken in its name, has established this like health connotation amongst uneducated consumers. They're like, going to Chick-fil-A is like a healthy thing. I don't know if you know Vani Hari, the food babe.
I know Food Babe.
Okay, so that's Vani Hari. I shared a stage with her a long time ago in Charlotte during an expo, and now she's like blown up right now because of all this stuff. She's one of the key people to make the red dye ban, like promote that, and she's like stomped on the lobby of Kellogg's before, and probably Tyson Foods at some point. But is this the Chick-fil-A policy here, Chelsea?
Yeah, there's been a couple other ones, but this is the antibiotics. Is that the one that you're talking about? How they went to no antibiotics?
I'm going to have you read some of this in a minute, but I need to tell you guys something right now. Listen, Chick-fil-A is not healthy just because it has the word chicken in the title. It's not healthy. It's the same stuff as McDonald's or Cookout or Burger King it's the same stuff. Chelsea, go to, please, a recipe list, a broken down, expanded ingredient list of a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich. Okay? Please do that, and then we'll go to the policy stuff. But I just wanted to, not to put Chick-fil-A on blast, because whatever, great company, but it's not healthy. It's not healthy. I think they have great service. I think they've changed the game in fast food to be food by service. But the food itself, my friends, come on. Let's go. Let's wake up a little bit here, right? Like, just because it's a chicken doesn't mean it's... Look at this. Look at this. 55 ingredients in a Chick-fil-A sandwich. And this, by the way, look at the bottom right corner. This is a food babe. Shout out to the food babe. She's right here, homegrown in Charlotte. This is a list based on her research. 55 ingredients in a Chick-fil-A sandwich. 55. Okay? 55. There should be one ingredient in chicken. Chicken. You know, you can expand anything out. Like, just to play the devil's advocate on the other side, can you please look up expanded ingredient list of a banana? Just to be clear, you can take the expanded ingredient list on any food, and you can take it down to like the actual chemical makeup of the food, and you can get an expanded list of any food. But notice that, okay, so for example, here's an all-natural banana. If you took it and broke it down in its constituent parts, okay, so let's just play devil's advocate on the other side of that. But this is all of the base ingredients, like at their isolated states, or mostly isolated states. When Chick-fil-A, the sandwich, if you go back to that one, Chelsea, you could take all 55 ingredients to that, and you could do that exercise that they did with the banana for all 55 of these ingredients and come up with thousands of chemicals that ultimately. So don't let yourself get confused if you've seen the banana image before versus the Chick-fil-A. Like, look at the banana, look at the Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is healthy, as the same ingredient list as banana. No, because the banana is the smallest constituent. The Chick-fil-A is just the main ingredients, which you could break all 55 of those down into bigger lists. All right, so where do you get your chicken from? That's a big decision. It's a big decision. It's such a widely available food and great source of protein that I would hate for you to think that you're doing something healthy and actually end up not maximizing. Trisha, any thoughts, any concerns, anything I left out in the conversation on chicken might not be chicken?
No, I think it's great. I think also, like, just know it goes back to like the awareness for Chick-fil-A, because my kids love Chick-fil-A. We know it's not healthy, but like, we'll also let them eat it. But like, I tell them, like, this is not good for you. And then when they have a stomachache later, I like remind them it's because the food that you put in your body wasn't actually real food. Like, it's not. So just have the awareness. I don't think either one of us are saying like take this out completely, but just know what you're doing to your body. And then also be a little bit more educated when you're going to the grocery store and making sure you're looking at the labels and making sure you're actually buying real chicken and not fake chicken.
Okay, number 8. This one, we've played a video on this before. I think we're going to roll. Like, can we roll that video again during this? Okay, yeah. Tee it up, because this one is just life. This is how life works nowadays in 2025. Plastic is in everything, including the air. All right, microplastics have been found in salt, bottled water, seafood, fruits, human blood, the human brain, the air we breathe, everywhere. We live in this plastic society. So plastic packaging that touches every single food will rub microparticles of plastic off into it. You consume that. Studies have shown that these microplastics can really affect the endocrine or the hormonal system in your body, which is one of the 11 major organ systems in your body. And listen, there's no way around it. So all we can do is minimize it, because the air you're breathing right now has microplastics in it. There's no way around it. We're going to show you this video to prove to you that there's no way around it. We tend not to love to curse on this podcast, but my buddy Jordan Saya, who, by the way, is coming on the podcast.
Yeah.
In the near future. We booked him as a guest. So look out for his episode coming soon. I'll actually probably ask him about this microplastics video, but roll this video because it's just the reality of today that microplastics are everywhere. And then we'll talk about how to minimize it rather than eliminate.
Is the consumption of tap water. You have to stop all of the consumption of tap water.
Okay, fuck that. Bottled water is much healthier.
Stop drinking water from a plastic bottle. Every bottle of water that you drink from plastic contains almost 250,000 nanoparticles of plastic, which can enter your bloodstream. They can cross your blood-brain barrier and cause serious neurological damage and DNA damage, and even low sperm count in men.
What? I want more babies, man.
Those babies, Jordan.
On Topo Chico. It's not tap water.
Stop drinking
glass
water.
bottle.
Next time we think about grabbing a Topo Chico, remember it was tested to have the most PFAS. The problem is these chemicals have ended up in much of our water and food supply and can contribute to things like kidney cancer, developmental issues, and weakened immune systems.
What the fuck am I supposed to drink, asshole? Okay, I'm just gonna have some ice water because no one can say that a nice glass of ice water is bad for you.
If you're drinking ice water, I'd like to tell you to please stop. Drinking ice water actually slows down your metabolism. It can create extra mucus in your digestive system.
I hate social media. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have a nice balanced meal and some gross room temperature water, and no one's gonna say shit about it.
We should stop drinking half an hour before the meal and then resume drinking 1.5 hours to 2 hours after the meal. If someone's drinking with their meals, they water down enzymes in the stomach, and the stomach knows that, so digestion stops.
You know what? Fuck it. It's not like it's going to kill you. And at least it's hydrating you, right? So at least there's some benefit to it.
I also believe water is a scam. Water is a solvent, so it's dissolving your body. The fact that people say it's hydrating your cells is actually of no benefit to it.
I've actually been on that podcast.
What is happening in society? Making this video is one of the most depressing things I've done.
So, yeah, the funniest one is the one from the Sean Kelly podcast at the Digital Social Hour.
Water's a scam.
Water's a scam. If water's a scam, then we're in trouble.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but that's, I mean, shout out to Sean, but that's his podcast, right? It's like he tries to say all the things like just for clicks that are going to be, crazy. He's got a studio out in Vegas that is very interesting podcast, but
He won that episode.
Yeah.
Water's a scam.
Water is a scam. Okay, so water is an essential part of our body. Water is going to have microplastics in it, as you can tell, but so everything in life is a trade-off.
Yeah.
Everything's in life is a trade-off. All right. So if microplastics are going to be everywhere and in everything, and in air and in water and things we breathe because of manufacturing, it's just the way it is, then we need to learn how to balance it.
Mm-hmm.
There is you guys have seen before, pick up something plastic that you have right now near you. I'm going to pick up my coffee lid. My coffee lid should, somewhere on it, have a triangle. And in that triangle, you are going to have a number. Okay? And it's got to be somewhere on here. But you're going to have a number.
I found mine.
You found yours? What does yours say on your bottle, Trish? A triangle?
2.
And it says
1.
number 2.
Oh, 1. And
So,
triangle.
okay. So everybody, this is the way that you are going to, if you're concerned with this, all right, this is the way that you're going to lessen your concern and make safer choices and have a trade-off. There's the plastic triangle system. It's called what is it called? RIC. I think it's the resin identification code, I believe. And it's going to have a number 1 through 7. Number 2, number 4, and number 5 are considered the safest. We'll just leave it at that. Number 1 is considered like single use only. And number 3 is, and number 6 and number 7 are considered avoid at all costs.
Okay.
Okay. So
I have it up for you.
Oh, there it is right there for you guys to consume. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 4, and 5, generally considered safe. Number 1, single use only. Number 3, number 6, number 7 is avoid at all costs. So there's kind of like, this way, I forget the word, but what's the word to like remember something? Like an easy 1, 2, 3 to remember something. Here it is. 2, 4, 5 to stay alive. 3, 6, 7 head to heaven.
There you go.
Think about it that way. 2, 4, 5 stay alive. 3, 6, 7 head to heaven, which is basically mean that you die, which is morbid, but that's not reality. It's just a funny way to help you remember. Heating plastic is going to hurt that. Leach chemicals are going to be in pretty much everything. And you've heard the term BPA before. BPA, I believe, is what number? BPA is 3, I believe. Yes. BPA is number 3, which you want to avoid entirely. And so where's the triangle? Look for the triangle. And if it's 2, 4, 5, stay alive.
3, 6,
4,
7.
5, go to heaven. Remember that, everybody? Okay, sounds good. Any comments, Trish?
I just think it's a good awareness. You're not gonna, to your point, you're not gonna escape plastics altogether. So just be aware.
Okay, some food dyes. Some food dyes are linked to hyperactivity and cancer, but still legal in the U.S. We know that dyes are on the hot seat right now. The same pink dye that's used to dye this pink sweatshirt is very similar to the same pink dye that colors artificial Minute Maid pink lemonade.
Yep.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild. That's like
it should be illegal.
I feel like eating my shirt right now.
Give
Like,
it
I mean, it's
a
like,
little lick.
what? What? It's the same exact thing? Fact check me, but I'm pretty sure it's the same thing. Maybe a little altercation, a little modification. But food dyes are in almost everything that we're eating in a modern American diet, but they're linked to this hyperactivity, this cancer. We banned red dye. We banned red dye, what was it? 70 a long time ago. Or red dye 2 a long time ago. For 70 years, it was generally recognized as safe. And then we banned, now it's not here. And FRNC Red 3 was the most recent ban. How long was that here for? These food dyes are not healthy, right? There's a reason that our Fruit Loops look different than the Fruit Loops in Canada. Yeah. There's a reason. Because our food dyes are made to make the food more colorful, which color subconsciously will attract us to consumption. Bees are a hot topic on this podcast. Bees are attracted to what?
Honey.
Bees
They
are
make honey. Sorry.
Let's rewind that. Try that one again, Trish. Bees are attracted to what? Pollen. Where's pollen
that's
found?
what I meant to say.
Where's pollen found?
In a flower.
Yeah, flowers are generally speaking pretty what? Pretty bright. They got these bright colors. There's an association with bright color in biology to attraction. We're attracted to bright colors. So the brighter I can make the food, the more vibrant I can make my Fruit Loops, the more kids are going to be attracted to put a box of Fruit Loops and Cheerios, same ring, right next to each other. What's going to attract a kid more? The Fruit Loops, obviously, because they're brighter. They're fun. They got a toucan. A toucan, a big bird on the front.
Playful.
It's fun.
Marketing 101 too. Brighter colors bring out a different.
You don't see many gray and white brands that are just like gray, and maybe a couple of them. If like in the name is like black and white dress company.
Also, to fact check you, so yes, the same synthetic dyes used in clothes are also used in food. They went through a different purity standard if it's in food compared to clothes.
Okay. So just ultra filtered version of our t-shirt dye.
Yes.
All right. Well, there you have it. Officially fact checked by our very own producer, Chelsea. And red 40, yellow 5 in children's food are banned in Europe, but they remain in cereals and candies and drinks and all that stuff here. So, I mean, we all know this. Just try your very, very, very best to eat foods that don't have artificial dyes. That's my word. Trish.
I was just going to say, I was going to bring this up when we were talking about sugar, but I was looking at our Replenish, and my kids, my life is sports right now. And I had halftime snacks, and all of the halftime snacks, like the kids always want Gatorade. And I was like, there's got to be a better option than Gatorade. And I was like, maybe I can just like make a bunch of Replenish and put them in little bottles, and then I can just pass out Replenish to everybody. I don't have time to do that, but that's where I just feel like it's quick and easy. And then here we are. This not only in Gatorade is that there's red 40. I just looked it up. And then there's also 36 grams of sugar. And we're just giving it to our kids like on the daily basis.
Yeah, and here Gatorade is supposed to be this sports drink supplement that is supposed to be the iconic version of fuel. That's what Gatorade is. Gatorade was made at the University of Florida. The Gators. Gatorade. Remember that commercial? We needed a sports drink that could rehydrate our football players. So naturally, we called it Gatorade.
Oh,
right.
I did not know that.
Gatorade. Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
okay.
That's what where Gatorade comes from. But we have t-shirt dye and 36 grams of sugar. Okay. The scientific argument of that is the same one that goes back to the candy. It's you're replenishing your glycogen stores with sugar. Yeah. So the sugar itself, when you drink it during sport, is bioavailable and ready to be stored as glycogen because you want a high spike of insulin.
Right.
to drive it into your body. Now the question is, do you need 36 grams? I don't know. I'm not a nutritional scientist. I would say no, but I also know that there's psychological effects of having food such as Gatorade or consuming highly addictive foods like that. And there's cascading psychological effects that hang over into the rest of your diet that I want to stay away from. We'll go maybe mark that down because I don't want to go down that rabbit hole because I know the science behind it, like the link to the reward systems in the brain when it comes to food and like the food digestion is one thing, but we don't often correlate the food digestion to the psychological impact and pathology that it has on the brain.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to because Dr. Amanda Fisher was on our podcast and she's been on many, many times. And we just released a new episode with her and she talked about where at birth, which is an amazing fact. I mean, I kind of knew this, but she put it in a way where it was like, I didn't know how linked this was, but at birth, your basically your butt and your brain or your sphincter, your perineal muscles, your butt and your brain are linked as one when you're a baby and then they separate, right? And so like your stomach has a neural network.
Literally connects.
We now know your stomach has a neural network the same way your brain does, and they're completely disassociated from one another. So there really is a gut brain connection. There is such thing as a neural network in your gut that gives you intuition, that gives you that deep sense of this is right or this is wrong, that doesn't always necessarily vibe with the logical side of your brain. So we need to realize that if we are eating all these foods and it's disrupting our digestive system, then that has correlation and really in ways causation into brain effects and brain diseases as well.
We should talk more about that for sure.
We will. We will definitely put a pin in that debate.
Cool.
We'll talk about it later. All right, last one, and then we'll get you guys out of here for today. Thanks for hanging with us during this fun episode. Most olive oil isn't 100% olive oil.
Oh, gosh.
Investigations reveal that many extra virgin olive oils are diluted with cheaper oils like soybean or sunflower, yet sold at premium prices. Man.
I have the Jordan Syatt video in my head of like me just trying to like eat different things. It's like, nope, can't. Oh, olive oil, nope, can't have honey, nope, it's not actual honey.
Yeah, and
Here we are.
Lane Norton is also an expert that in this category. Let's roll that video from Lane where he talks about the seed oil debate.
Casey has been nominated to be the Surgeon General of the U.S. I am not saying that all of the stuff she says is BS, but this is BS. So let's go into it.
Seed oils, hell nay. Yeah. Disgusting. If you want to really like lose your lunch, Google a YouTube video on how canola oil is made.
Just because of the way something's made doesn't make it toxic. If I showed you how water got treated to be purified, I could probably scare you about that. Seed oils, canola oil, if we look at the, wait for it, human randomized control trials, I feel like I'm saying this till I'm blue in the face, specifically canola oil or rapeseed oil. Canola oil consumption is actually associated with a decreased risk of cardiovascular disease and overall mortality and cardiovascular disease mortality, cardiovascular disease incidence, and actually associated with less inflammation, not more, and overall better metabolic health compared to equal amounts of saturated fat. So I'm aware of no studies demonstrating when you substitute in a 1-to-1 ratio that canola oil actually causes you to be less healthy when you're substituting it for saturated fat. I'm not.
Okay. So it's just an interesting debate because right now in the world, you're having a seed oil debate. Listen, here's what I'm going to say. I'm just cooking everything in coconut oil. That's what I do. That's the meat of a coconut. You can either get the kind of refined coconut or oil, or has I believe the refined stuff has a higher smoke point at like 350 degrees, a lower smoke point at 350 degrees. And then the more slightly processed has a little bit higher. What are those terms called, Chelsea? It's look up coconut oil, refined.
Is it the same as avocado oil?
No, because avocado has a seed and the seed from the avocado is where the oil's derived from, not the avocado itself, but the coconut is derived from the meat. The inside of the coconut has the coconut oil. And I just use coconut oil for everything because I don't want to be a part of the seed oil debate. I just don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to recommend it. I don't want to not recommend it. I think it's this current debate is like the debate of cholesterol in the 90s of whether it's like good for you or bad for you, and eggs were demonized. Eggs are a superfood. Guys, an egg is, in my opinion, the best food that you can put in your body. An egg. A whole egg. Not just egg white, a whole egg. The egg white and the yolk. It's one of the best foods you can put in your body. So in the 90s, cholesterol was demonizing eggs because, you know, it's high in fat, and fat is correlated with cholesterol. It's like, I'm over all of this fear-mongering, whether it's on Layden Norton's side telling you not to do this, this lady's full of crap, versus this lady saying, hell nay, I'm not eating seed. Like, both of you to me have an ulterior motive. Why would we not just say, hey, coconut oil isn't a seed? Seed oils are a big debate. Do your own research. Cling on to whatever you want to cling on to. We all know these human randomized control trials 10 years down the road can end up being debunked by some other human randomized control trial. So why don't we just talk about coconut oil? Or MCT oil. If you get a highly MCT oil, medium chain triglyceride, I just keep MCT oil. I cook with it sometimes. Sometimes I'll just put a little splash of it in my coffee every now and then. If I'm on like especially a low calorie for a day or two or three or whatever, I'll just squirt it right in my mouth.
Oh,
yeah,
that was really popular. Like
swish it around
a little bit ago. Put it in your coffee. I remember that being a big thing.
All right, Trish, we're headed toward noon here. I know you got a meeting you got to jump to. We got things we got to do here at Burn HQ today. So listen, we appreciate you guys hanging with us for 10. We had that's 10 crazy facts. All right, let us know if you want us to bring back 10 more crazy facts about nutrition, about food. If you enjoyed this episode, let us know. If you'd like to listen to episode 512, Chelsea, I believe it was. The link is in the show notes. And you can also click on it right here because we'll put it on the screen for you. Take care, everybody. 2 claps on 2. 1, 2.